Hey, it's Rob. If you're in your 50s or getting anywhere close to it, you probably noticed a shift. I'm 58 years old now, and lately I've been looking at my life, my calendar, my energy in a completely different way. This isn't about midlife regret, not at all. It's actually about clarity, getting clarity. When you're younger, time feels like this endless highway. You figure you have all the time in the world to waste on things that just really don't matter. But at 58, you start to realize the runway is shorter than it used to be. And your time and your energy are your most valuable assets. And honestly, you might be spending way too much of it chasing things that just don't deliver. In this video, we're going to talk about 7 massive traps waiting for you after 50 that will absolutely drain your life if you let them. And make sure you stay with me all the way to the end, because the very last point I'm going to share is the single most important lesson I've learned in my 58 years. It completely changed my life, and I know it's going to help you. It's going to change your life. All right, let's start with number one. Number one, spending time with people who drain your battery. You have these people in your life, all of us do. You probably have a specific face in mind right now. You're thinking of them as I'm saying this. These are the friends, neighbors, or people you know, acquaintances, who only call you when they need a favor and a ride to the airport or a shoulder to cry on. They're the ones who turn every single conversation back to themselves. You ask how they're doing and they talk for 40 minutes straight. They never ask you how you are. You sit at lunch with them for an hour, and when you walk away, you feel physically exhausted, like you need a nap. They aren't necessarily bad people. They aren't malicious, but they're highly expensive to be around. And at 58, I realized my emotional budget for that is completely gone. I can't afford it. Every hour you or I spend with someone who drains us is an hour you are stealing from the people who actually uplift you. Or worse, it's an hour you steal from yourself just to enjoy some quiet time. Maybe some time on the porch or out in the garage. You got to protect your emotional energy like the scarce resource that it is. It's not cruel to create distance. It's just self-preservation, right? Surround yourself with people who feel like a warm fire, not a vacuum cleaner. Number 2, trying to keep up with what other people have. You probably spent your 20s, 30s, and 40s in absolute competition mode. We all did. It started with grades in school, then it became a job, titles and promotions, then the size of your house, the brand of your car, the vacation spots you posted about. Everything felt like a giant scoreboard, and you always felt like you had to keep up. But if you're still playing that game at 50, you're running a race that nobody else is keeping score. You log on to Facebook or LinkedIn and you see an old coworker or a classmate who just retired early. Maybe they bought a boat or they just moved into a massive custom house. Suddenly, that old feeling starts to creep in. You start comparing your bank account to theirs. You start to feel behind. But let me ask you a real question. A real question. Do you even want a boat? Do you actually want a bigger house to clean, maintain, or pay taxes on? Most of the time, your answer is no. You don't want their life. You just want the feeling of winning. Everyone is playing a completely different game now. Some people have the big house, but zero peace of mind. Others have the fancy car, but deep in debt. The only person you should compare yourself to is your past self. Look back 5 years. Are you more grounded today? Are you more at peace? Are you more comfortable in your own skin? If the answer is yes, then you're winning. The only race that actually matters. You're winning that race. Stop looking at the scoreboard. Number 3, caring too much about your job title. This one might hit really close to home for you. For 3 or 4 decades, society tells you that what you do for work is exactly who you are. Think about the first question you get asked when you meet someone new. So what do? Your job title becomes your shorthand for your worth, your status, and your purpose. You become the manager, the director, the business owner. But eventually, that identity becomes a trap. Maybe you're looking at retirement in a few years. Maybe you're downshifting or changing careers. Or maybe you've just checked out mentally because you're tired of the corporate grind. If your entire identity is tied to a company or a title, you are going to feel like you've lost. It causes a massive identity crisis so many people in their 50s feel. You need to remember, you are not your paycheck. You never were. Your job is just something you did to fund the rest of your life. The second half of your life should be about going deeper, not just climbing higher. Focus on who you are when the laptop is closed and the phone is put away. Invest in your curiosity, your creativity, and the ways you can give back to others. Find the things that make you feel alive, even when nobody is paying you a dime to do them. That's where real fulfillment lives. Number 4, finishing books, movies, or projects you actually hate. Think about how you were raised. Our parents probably hammered it into our heads. Finish what you start. Don't be a quitter. It was a lesson in discipline back then. But fast forward to today, and how does that show up? You sit on the couch watching a movie or a Netflix series that lost your interest 2 episodes ago. But you keep watching just to see how it ends. Or you force yourself through a 400-page book that is putting you to sleep every night simply because you bought it and you feel guilty leaving it on the shelf. Maybe it's a DIY project in the garage or a hobby you picked up a few months ago. You don't even care about it anymore, but you keep dragging yourself to do it because you don't want to feel like you failed. Let me tell you something. At this stage of your life and my life, that isn't discipline. It's just being stubborn. And it's a terrible trade. It's a terrible trade. Think about the math. If you have, say, 30 summers left, do you really want to spend 2 weeks of one reading a book you don't even like? You are trading your finite, precious hours for a mediocre experience just to avoid a label. Give yourself permission to stop. If a book hasn't grabbed you by page 50, close it. Put it down. Give it away. If a hobby feels like a chore, drop it and find something else. Your time is too valuable. Spend it on things that actually engage your mind and bring you joy. Number 5, arguing with people who will never change their minds. You've been there, and I know I've been there. You're scrolling through social media, you see a comment or a news post that fires you up, and you start typing a furious response. Or maybe it's at the holiday dinner with a relative who has completely opposite views from yours on politics or religion. You waste 2 hours typing out paragraphs or arguing over dinner, hoping they will finally see the light. You think your logic is so perfect that they'll say, "Wow, you're right, and I was wrong." It never happens, does it? Not once in human history. By the time you hit your 50s, you need to accept a basic truth about human nature. Most people aren't looking for the truth. They are just looking to win the argument. They've already dug their heels in. When you get sucked into that, you lose your peace, your blood pressure goes up, and you waste a perfectly good afternoon feeling angry. Value your inner peace over the need to be right. I've mastered a new phrase lately. When someone starts trying to drag me into pointless debate, I just smile and say, "You might be right." And I change the subject. It disarms them completely. You don't have to defend your worldview in every single conversation. You know what you believe, and that is enough, right? And the moment you let go of needing the last word, you get your sanity back. Number 6, saying yes to things just to be polite. How much of your week is eaten up by things you did out of pure obligation? Take a look at your calendar from the last month. I'm not talking about the hard realities of life, like taking care of a family member, helping your kids, or handling a real emergency. I'm not talking about that. Those things matter. What I'm talking about is things that you can say no to, but you feel too guilty to do it. It's joining another community committee that you secretly hate just because someone put you on the spot. It's attending a social gathering or a dinner party you dread just to avoid an awkward conversation. Been there? It's doing a massive favor for an acquaintance who never gives you the time of day when you need help. There is a huge difference between genuine kindness and fear-based people pleasing. I know we've all been there. Genuine kindness comes from a full cup. People pleasing comes from the fear of being disliked. When you say yes out of guilt, you bring anxiety, resentment to the table, and nobody wins that. Start practicing the clean, polite no. You don't need a long, elaborate excuse. You don't need to tell a lie. Just say, "I won't be able to make it, but thank you so much for thinking of me." That's it. End of sentence. That's all you got to say. Save your precious energy for the people and the causes that genuinely you care about, right? Number 7, the ultimate lesson, waiting for other people to finally change. Now we've made it to the last point. Like I promised you at the beginning, this is the single most important lesson I've ever learned. It took me decades of headaches and heartaches to truly understand this, but once I did, my life changed overnight. You have to stop waiting for other people to finally change. This is usually the last and hardest lesson to drop away in midlife. We hold on to the secret hope that a family member, a partner, an adult child, or an old friend will finally wake up and become the person we need them to be. You think if you just explain your feelings one more time, or find the perfect words or stage the right intervention, they'll change their behavior. But let's be completely honest with one another. They are not going to change. When someone repeatedly shows you who they are through their actions over years, you need to stop questioning it. You need to believe them. Your flaky friend is going to flake again next weekend. Your emotionally distant relative is going to stay distant at the next family event. Your critical parent or partner is going to keep criticizing you. Expecting anything else is just a recipe for your own constant disappointment. You're letting them steal your peace based on fantasy. Accepting reality doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior. You still need strong boundaries. But it means that you stop wasting your valuable energy trying to fix them. Once you accept people for exactly who they are, you're finally free to make an honest choice. You can look at the situation and ask, can I live with them exactly as they are? Do I need to lower my expectations of them? Or do I just need to walk away and create a distance? Your peace starts when you stop trying to fix the world and you start protecting your own clarity. That is the absolute best gift the second half of my life can give you. Getting older isn't about slowing down or giving up. It's about editing. It's about clearing out the noise, dropping the heavy baggage you've carried for decades, and focusing on what actually makes your life worth living. I want to hear from you now. Which of these 7 traps has been the hardest for you to drop? Where do you find yourself wasting the most energy? Leave a comment down below and let's talk about it. I read every single one. If you're focused on making the next chapter of your life the absolute best, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for your time today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.